The passing of time has done little to dull the pain of many Israelis that the killer of Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin is a fellow Jew, that the enemy lurks within, not only within Israel, but in the United States, as Richard Threlkeld reports in tonight's Eye on America.
It came as a shock to many Israelis that there were among them Jews so full of hate and anger they'd applaud the assassination of Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. Yet the shocking fact is you can hear the same sentiments right here in America.
He was ready to give it all up. And thank God Yigal Amir took him out before he could do that. Now, Sarah,
excerpts from a cable TV show regularly seen in New York City. Victor Vancier, who helped produce the shows, once led the Jewish Defense League and was convicted for a string of terrorist bombings in New York in the 1980s. Israel's largest daily reported that Vancier was recently barred from entering Israel, as were 7 other Americans last week, evidence of just how concerned the Jewish state has become about protecting itself from American extremists. And it's not just TV talk, it's action. As recently as 2 years ago at this camp in New York's Catskill Mountains, ex-Israeli soldiers taught paramilitary courses to Jewish trainees. Israeli journalist Zadak Yakiskeli was there.
They studied about rifles, about machine guns. They got even theoretical lessons about bombs and grenades.
The camp was set up by followers of the radical Rabbi Meir Kahane, who was assassinated in New York in 1990. Last year, Israel outlawed 2 extremist political parties inspired by Rabbi Kahane, Kach and the so-called Kahane High. This year, the U.S. State Department added those parties to a list of terrorist organizations, including some radical Palestinian groups, making it illegal for Americans to raise money for them. But that hasn't stopped the flow of dollars to extremists from New York fundraisers like this one last February, with comedian Jackie Mason on the speaker's dais with Meir Kahane's son. Mason says he had no idea he was raising money for extremists. Larry Kohler of the newspaper Jewish Week has investigated Kahane High in America.
We found that they were doing substantial fundraising, but not in their own name.
Hello, you have reached the Yigal Amir defense line. Yigal Amir is a young religious Jewish hero.
How much money? Hard to know. This independent hotline, set up to finance the legal defense of Rabin's accused assassin, Yigal Amir, is under investigation by local authorities. It is run out of this neighborhood in Brooklyn by a man who calls himself Moshe Gross.
He claimed that he raises money. He raised $100,000 in that point.
And there are those who believe some American Jews are practicing a dangerous double standard.
The very same principles which were used successfully to defeat anti-Semitic extremists, we failed to apply to Jewish extremists, and that's why Jewish extremists have become such a threat, and that's why they continue to do their work.
One tragic lesson of the Rabin assassination for those in the great silent majority in Israel and America who did not speak out against extremists is that silence, too, has its costs. In New York, I'm Richard Threlkeld for Eye on America.
That's the CBS Evening News. Later on 48 Hours, can the